You are listening to an interview with a featured Pride of Dakota member.
Hi, this is Sarah Kelch, and today I'm sitting down with Marion Sorum with Iddy and Bidy Baby. Welcome, Marion.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's exciting. So you're a fairly new Pride of Dakota member. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your company?
Well, Iddy and Bidy Baby started by accident. A lot of my friends were having children, and I didn't know what to buy them. There's just so many of them. So being that I had kind of a creative mind, I decided to wander into the fabric store one day and bought some fabric and came home and was talking to my mom on the phone. And she said, "You did what?" And I said, "Well, I bought some fabric. I'm going to make my friends some baby blankets." She said, "You have no business doing that. You don't know how to sew."
So you have no background in sewing?
No.
Okay.
So I went to work and, a couple of mistakes here and there, and my friends, knew that I had no background in sewing, so it kind of became this, "Oh, these are great," and they encouraged me. And then it got to be a point where more babies came, or second babies came, and they would kind of stand by the mailbox and wait for their package from me because they'd get this big bundle of blankets and whatever came to mind at that time. And so then they started asking, "My friends are having babies. Can I buy a blanket from you?" And at the time I was working full time, and I didn't have time to even hardly get my gifts done. So when I was expecting Keaton, then I kind of thought about what is it that I could do in case I was in a traveling sales job, in case that didn't work out, or in case I was not able to fulfill those requirements anymore, and I wanted something to kind of exercise my brain. So I started Iddy and Bidy kind of as a backup plan. Not necessarily looking to pay the bills with it, but looking for that fulfillment, that creative outlet. And so I started it and got a lot of good feedback and had a couple stores that took off with it. And then I kind of started researching where I wanted to go from there. And that's where I landed in Pride of Dakota and decided that would probably be an awesome addition because it was a market that was already tapped and marketed to and primed. And so, yes, that's how I came to be.
We have a little guest in studio with us today, too. Keaton is here, so he's making his presence known. He wants to be heard on the radio as well. How old did you say he was?
Keaton is 7 months.
So how long have you been doing this as a business then?
I started last fall, so 2010. I started in the fall with the inventory, trying to gear up the inventory, and then it made Iddy and Bidy went into a store in Minot last fall also.
Oh, excellent. So did you approach a store, or how did they find out about you?
That's another interesting story. I used to work for Target way back in the day, and I helped remodel the Minot store. And a gal who was in high school worked for me, and she was just the sweetest thing. And she helped me through that whole process when I had many workers that quit on me because it was overnight. And we had kind of kept in contact, and she had worked various places. And I came in one day to a little gift store in Minot and wanted to check it out, and there she stood, and she was the store owner.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's fabulous.
Yeah, so it all just happened by accident. So I was telling her that I make these gifts for my friends, and they're trying to get me to go into business, and she said, "Oh, I'm looking for a baby vendor," and she said, "I think you need to do it." And so
wow, that's nice. The stars aligned well for you there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about what kind of products you make?
I make most of the products that I make are the early stages of baby. So they would be like receiving blankets, burp cloths, changing pads, and now I've gone into bibs.
Okay.
Too. So, and I'm always looking to expand based on feedback. That's how the bibs came to be. And at the time, I wasn't a mother, and now I have Keaton, and he is the most irpy, drooly baby. So all of a sudden it was like I got this feedback for bibs, and I'm like, oh yeah, that would be a great idea.
No doubt. So it's all kind of fallen into place pretty well for you then.
Yeah, it has. It's been a fun little ride, and mostly it's just for fun.
Okay. So you just participated in your first Pride of Dakota show, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How did that work out for you?
It was a lot of fun. It was fun to get out there and see people. And, the most complimentary part of the show was those people that had brought the product before and had come back. One was from Minot, and she had to stop by the booth because she saw I was going to be there. And it was just such a compliment. Those little things go such a long way.
So did you find you had a lot of repeat customers then, you were saying?
Yeah, I had a few that were repeat, and some that had gotten them for gifts. And that was really neat. They were back for more. So
okay. So are you constantly thinking of new products to make, or what's
absolutely.
the future hold?
I would like to expand beyond, those early baby stages. It's just a matter of putting my thinking hat on, especially now that I've had that first show and have that confidence, and now it's, expanding beyond that.
So how many hours a day do you spend sewing, would you think?
At this point, right now, I am doing a lot of the buying. And I'm getting some help with the sewing just with Keaton, and it seems like it's easier to do the buying at this point in the game. And then I get some help with the...
So essentially you were self-taught sewer then, is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So did you actually have a sewing machine at home, or did you...
No, I borrowed my mom's, and I haven't given it back yet.
Oh, too funny. So maybe that's a Christmas present for her then, a new sewing machine? Or
I don't know. So my husband went to buy me a new one, and he was going to trade in the old one, and my mom's like, "You have nothing to trade in, that's fine." So I don't know.
Now, you said besides the store in Minot, are there other retail stores that are carrying your product?
Mm-hmm. Baby World here in Bismarck just picked it up. There was a store that was carrying it prior to that in Bismarck, and they just decided to discontinue their baby products. So they are. And then I've got a little store up in Crosby, North Dakota, in the middle of oil country. It's a floral shop. And then I have a couple stores on the eastern side of the state that are carrying it, some floral shops in Grand Forks, and then the Baby Boutique in Fargo Pout is going to pick it up this week.
Wow, excellent. So how are you making those connections with these stores?
Well, as I said, the one in Minot just kind of fell in my lap, and then the floral store in Grand Forks, I'm from there.
Okay.
So just have a connection through a business partner. And Crosby, I went there. We have a farm real close to Crosby, and so I was up there doing some business and walked into this cute little floral shop, and she had what seemed to me as a baby selection that she was trying to expand upon, and so I just happened to ask her, and she was actually sitting there with a baby catalog at that minute saying, I got to find some things to add to it, and so we got to talking, and she picked up the product line.
Wow, that worked out perfect as well. So
Yeah.
do you do anything online, or do you use social media at all to help with your business?
Yes, I have a Facebook page, and I've had that since the start of Iddy and Bidy last fall, and then I recently got a web page. I did try to set up an e-commerce page, and those are pretty technical and a lot of work. So I've just gone to a straight-up web page, and then now after the show, my next adventure is an Etsy site.
Oh, exciting. Good.
Yeah, I didn't have time to do it and do it well before the show, and that's one thing that I've learned, especially with having a little one, is just managing your time and not doing things part way, but maybe doing less, but doing it better.
Okay, so currently you stay at home and you're doing your business, is that correct?
Yeah, and my husband farms, so it seems I get a lot of duties as assigned.
I see. I understand how that goes. So, well, why don't you give us your website address and tell us your Facebook name so people can go check you out.
Okay, it's www.iddyandbidybabys.com. So iddyandbidybaby.com.
Excellent. And your Facebook would be the same?
Yeah, you can just look it up, Iddy and Bidy Baby. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Well, it's been fun visiting with you today, Marian, and little Keaton.
Yeah, he always has a few things to say. He's a connoisseur of the product.
He knows it well. Sounds good. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
To learn more about this featured Pride of Dakota member, visit our website, prideofdakota.com. To become a featured Pride of Dakota member, send an email to prideofdakota@gmail.com. To listen to the full podcast of North Dakota Now, click on the podcast link on our website, prideofdakota.com. Thanks for listening.